I'm all backed up. Let's learn the fun-sized story of the Great Raft, the great blockage to American exploration. Beware, beware, my young budding historians, of the perils of folk histories. Like urban legends, rumors get spread until people believe some preposterous thing about the past. Like the oft-repeated, 90 bajillion people in the world are related to Genghis Khan something something. We can't even locate his tomb, let alone get a DNA sample. The report says you are not the father. Yet people pass this around as fact. Another one of my favorites. Everybody just basically stayed put until the invention of the bicycle. But why? Have you heard of a horse? Or water? As long as you can float on it, ideally with a boat, you can get anywhere connected to the water you started on pretty darn quickly. Which brings us to Louisiana, specifically the Purchase. In 1803, the president of a new, teeny coastal country, the United States, doubled his country's size by buying most of France's possessions in the New World. Immediately, this president, Thomas Jefferson, began sending out expeditions to map this new territory, mainly by finding out where the rivers ended, especially because this would be the fastest way to get around. Time was of the essence, because there really wasn't an established boundary between the newly purchased land and Spanish colonies in the Southwest. The sooner that Jefferson could get Americans out there and forts built, the stronger his claim. You likely have heard of the Lewis and Clark expedition, but there was another lesser known one, the Freeman Custis expedition, which took a more southerly route, starting on the Red River in today's state of Louisiana. We mentioned before that rivers made travel more easy. That's great and all, but here's the thing. Rivers can get dammed. Beavers do it. We humans do it. And in the case of the Red River, Mother Nature did it. Yes, soon after the expedition started, they hit a snag, literally. They had found what came to be known as the Great Raft, a massive pileup of logs that had accumulated over centuries and stretched for over 100 miles of river. This natural dam probably began around 1200 AD, adding a new mile of timber every spring. Yearly floods would bring fresh trees faster than they could rot away, and also inundate the riverbanks, creating bayous of drowned dead trees. The explorers noted that simply tapping one of these dead trees with their boat could bring it crashing down, and also add more to the raft. At some points, the raft was so strong that it could be crossed on horseback. A clue as to its age was an origin myth of the local Caddoan people, who believed that they descended from one family who survived a massive flood by getting to high ground. Their most sacred site was that very hill in present-day Arkansas. Many societies have myths about a great flood, but given the Caddoans' geographical reality and the sacred hill, this story might contain an encoded historical event. Custis, one of the leaders of the expedition, was a naturalist, which helped disguise the mission as purely scientific, so as not to piss off the Spanish. Well, they got suspicious anyway, and sent 1,000 soldiers to stop them and turn them around. They were tipped off by two members of Jefferson's own cabinet, James Wilkinson and Aaron Burr. Yeah, the same guy who killed Lin-Manuel Miranda in a duel. It gets worse. Aaron Burr may have been plotting to set up his own country. A story for another day, but did this guy ever stop being a douche? Really? Custis still managed to make valuable botanical discoveries. You diehard FSH fans would love to know that he found outcroppings of Jimson weed, a potent hallucinogenic. To learn about some soldiers who got hilariously high on this plant, watch the video here. He also described the bois d'arc tree, which local natives used to make excellent bows for hunting. This tree creates shoots at its base that become thickly interwoven, and white settlers would use this to create living fences for livestock before barbed wire. Another find, the great mullein plant, known in some parts as cowboy toilet paper. But the most important discovery was tons of valuable land. And if you know anything about America in the 1800s, you know that there were throngs of settlers waiting to get their hands on it. What was needed now was quick transport. and the removal of anyone already living there. Ironically, though the raft had protected the local natives for centuries by making the area undesirable for settlement, the US government's first attempt at clearing the raft was when they removed the Choctaw tribe to a spot up the Red River. In 1833, a captain named Henry Shreve proposed to break up the raft once and for all. He designed a unique type of steamboat that would hit the entrenched logs at ramming speed to dislodge them. Locals watching these boats in action called them Uncle Sam's tooth pullers. It took about 5 years to clear 70 miles of the Great Raft. But nature being nature, after a few years there were new blockages. For his effort, Shreve's base camp became a city named after him, Shreveport. Only with the new invention, nitroglycerin, was the raft mostly cleared. Lieutenant Eugene Woodruff managed to finish the job in 1872. At the same time, another new invention, the camera, could snap all these cool pics of him doing just that. Remember, history isn't just presidents and people who shoot Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's the story of you and me in different times and different circumstances. One big soap opera, and we should learn it that way. I'm almost at 500 subscribers, which is halfway to my goal of 1,000. I love each and every one of you guys. If you're watching this, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, join the conversation on Reddit, and consider becoming a patron at patreon.com. Phew. Thank you, nitroglycerin.